Hello there, and welcome back to the railway. So as you will have seen by the title and the thumbnail for the video, this one's going to be a little bit different, as I haven't been able to make much progress on the layout in the recent couple of weeks, so I thought I would share with you my thoughts on what models I think should be made in N-gauge. Now this video has 4 locomotives, which have been selected due to the models not existing in N-gauge, or their tooling being incredibly old. So if you have any that fit that description, please let me know down in the comments section below, and they could be included in a future video. So before we go into the locomotives, let's first look at the manufacturers which produce models in N-gauge. Now these manufacturers are in no particular order, starting off with Graham Farish. We also have Dapol, Rapido, Revolution Trains, Sonic Models, as well as EFE Rail. When I go through each of the locomotives that I think should be made in N-gauge, I will also make suggestions on which manufacturers I believe would be the best fit to make this model, or the most likely to make it. So to start things off, I think that there should be a new 440 tendered steam locomotive produced in N-gauge. The only recent 440 tendered locomotive in N-gauge is the Schools class by Dapol. I used to have one of these, but I eventually sold it back to the shop that I bought it from due to it having several mechanical faults. The only other 440 locomotives that I could find were over 20 years old. So I think that it's about time they made another one in N-gauge. Now there's a variety of different 440 locomotives that could be made, with some of them looking very magnificent, including this Caledonian Railways locomotive that you will also have seen on the front of the video. But let's go through some realistic thoughts about which 440s could be produced. Now recently, Sonic Models have announced a 440 in 00 gauge. Sonic Models have also produced N-gauge models, so it's not too far of a stretch to think that they could use the tooling for their 00 gauge model to help them develop an N-gauge model. I think that this could have a great chance of happening, with Sonic Models announcing that they will be making their Robinson A5 steam locomotive in N-gauge. They have already made one in 00 and are then using the tooling to help them make one in N-gauge. Another manufacturer that has announced a 440 locomotive in 00 gauge is Rapido Trains. They will be producing a Midland Railway 483 locomotive. This again would be a very good fit for N-gauge modellers, and Rapido Trains wouldn't have to necessarily worry about market duplication, even if Sonic Models were to make their 00 gauge locomotive in N-gauge. This is due to the 2 locomotives being from very different regions, and would therefore appeal to different consumers. Another couple of 440 steam locomotives that would fit well in N-gauge have already been produced by Bachmann in 00 gauge, so therefore it makes sense to think that Graham Farish could release an Atlantic or a City class steam locomotive. In keeping with that same idea once again, EFE Rail are producing a T2 in 00 gauge, which is a 440 steam locomotive from the southern region. They could, like their diesel class 41 locomotive, release this model in a couple of years' time in N-gauge. Or, if a manufacturer decided to make a locomotive from the ground up, I would love if they made a 721 class steam locomotive, which is one that you will have seen from the thumbnail of this video. Now there haven't been many Scottish locomotives made in N-gauge at all. The only one I could find that was in a Caledonian Railways livery was a 4MT tank engine produced exclusively for the Bachmann Collectors Club. It would certainly be nice to see some more Scottish locomotives, and rolling stock to go with it, produced in N-gauge, and a 440 steam locomotive would be a great way to start. Now the next locomotive suggestion is a little bit more simple. It is an LMS coronation, but streamlined. There has been LMS coronations produced in N-gauge by Graham Farish in multiple different liveries, including BR Crimson, BR Green, and I think they might have made one in BR Blue. If they haven't, then I'll just cut this bit of the video out. It seems strange that for such an iconic locomotive, it hasn't been produced in its original condition. The 2 main manufacturers that I think could make this model would be, of course, Graham Farish, having already made the Coronation class and they could just reuse the chassis with a couple of updates and revisions and give it a brand new body shell with the streamlined casing. The other manufacturer that could make this locomotive would be Dapol, having made the streamlined A4 class locomotive, although with Dapol you would have to hope that they don't use a terrible motor with a very bad drawbar connection. The next locomotive in today's video is a diesel Class 23 locomotive, or more commonly known as a Baby Deltic. This locomotive has been made in 00 gauge by Helgen or Hellion, depending on the pronunciation. I believe that there are two manufacturers in particular that stand out that could make this model. The first of which being Dapol. Dapol has made a multitude of N-gauge Bobo locomotives, including a Class 22 locomotive, or more commonly known as a baby warship. They have also made Class 27s, Class 33s, and more modern locomotives such as the Class 68s. The other manufacturer that sticks out to me as one that would produce the Class 23 would be Rapido Trains. A couple of years ago, Rapido Trains made the Class 28 Boco or Kobo locomotive, I can't remember which way round it goes, and they are currently in the process of releasing their wave of peaks or Class 44, 45 and 46 locomotives in N-gauge. So you can see a pattern here that Rapido is producing more N-gauge diesel locomotives, and a Class 23 is an untapped area of the N-gauge market, which I think that Rapido Trains or Dapol could exploit. For the final locomotive in today's video, there has been a huge time jump, going from the steam era to the diesel era and now into the electric era, and that will be the Class 91. The Class 91 has been produced in N-gauge, but not since the 1990s, so I think it's about time that the Class 91 was represented by a new N-gauge locomotive fit for the 21st century and beyond. The Class 91 has been seen in a multitude of liveries throughout its time, including the Intercity Swallow livery, GNER and LNER liveries, as well as the modern LNER/Intercity Retro livery. There could also be potential for a National Railway Museum exclusive livery, which would represent the locomotive with the livery that commemorates 50 years of the National Railway Museum, as seen at the Greatest Gathering. There are several manufacturers that could make the Class 91. Graham Farish, of course, being the ones that made the Class 91 last, would have to do a complete, from the ground up, retool of their Class 91. Dapol could also create the Class 91, with it being a similar design to their Class 86 and 87 locomotives, and would just need modifications to the chassis and body shell, of course, while retaining much of the mechanical components. The other manufacturer that I think would make the most sense to create the Class 91 would be Revolution Trains. Now, Revolution Trains has made the Class 92. They are making the Class 93 and Class 99 in both N-gauge and 00 gauge. So the Class 91 would fill in a gap in their range of N-gauge modern image electric locomotives. I think that there should be two different ways that this model should be sold to the consumer, with option 1 being the locomotive sold individually on its own, with Mark IV coaching packs available separately. As in this way, customers who already have Mark III coaches and don't want to spend, say, £400 or £500 having a whole set of Mark IV coaches for the 91s, they can run them with their existing Mark III coaches. Or, if customers don't have Mark III coaches, you could sell the Class 91 as a box set, kind of like the HST from Dapol or the Pendolino from Revolution Trains, and market it as the Intercity 225. This would open up the model to a much wider audience than, say, just releasing the model as a locomotive or just releasing it as a box set. If a manufacturer were to start work on a brand new Class 91, it would hopefully be ready then for 2029, which would be the 40th anniversary of the Class 91. So there are the 4 locomotives for this video that I think should be made in N-gauge. Let me know down in the comment section below if you agree or disagree with any of the suggestions that I have made in this video, and please do let me know of your own suggestions as they may feature in a future video. So if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and please do consider subscribing. Don't forget subscribing is free, and don't forget to hit the notification icon so that you are notified every time I release a video. There will be many videos coming up in the near future, including a visit to my local model show, a Class 66 repair guide, ballasting Phase 2, a review of a new locomotive, finishing off the hillside castle, as well as hopefully beginning the depot shed build. So thank you for watching this new style of video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If there's anything that you can think of that would make this style of video better, please do give me your suggestions down in the comment section below. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.